Remember drive-in theaters, phone booths, and cigarette machines? Can you believe we used to have vending machines where anyone, at any age, could purchase cigarettes for about 50 cents? What seems wild now was just everyday life back then. So let's get started and see if you remember these forgotten trends of years ago. There was a time when beepers or pagers were the height of communication technology. Doctors, business professionals, and even teenagers relied on these little devices to stay in touch. Beepers allowed users to receive numeric or alphanumeric messages and were a status symbol in the 1980s and 1990s. Nowadays, mobile phones offer more features and convenience, rendering pagers unnecessary. Despite their fall from grace, pagers still see some limited use in hospitals and certain industries where cell phone use is restricted. Fun fact, the first successful pager was introduced in 1950 for use in New York City hospitals, allowing doctors to be paged while on the move. Remember the days when creating a mixtape was the ultimate expression of friendship or love. Spending hours selecting the perfect songs, carefully timing each transition, and decorating the cassette cover with personal touches. Mixtapes were more than just collections of songs. They were heartfelt gifts. Despite their obsolescence, mixtapes hold a special place in our hearts. The joy of hitting record at the right moment and the anticipation of hearing that mix for the first time are experiences that digital playlists can't replicate. Fun fact, in the 1980s, mixtapes became so popular that they were even used by major artists to share unreleased music and often became highly sought-after collector's items. Betamax VCRs were introduced by Sony in 1975 and were technically superior to their VHS counterparts. They offered better picture quality and more durable tapes. Despite these advantages, Betamax lost the format war to VHS. The main reason was recording time. VHS could record for up to 6 hours, while Betamax was limited to just 1 hour. The Betamax vs. VHS battle is a classic example of how superior technology doesn't always win in the marketplace. Factors like consumer convenience played significant roles in VHS's victory. Today, both formats are relics of the past, overshadowed by digital streaming and on-demand services. Fun fact, Betamax tapes are still used in some niche markets, like television news, due to their durability and superior quality. In the 1970s and 1980s, roller discos were great Saturday night fun. Combining roller skating with disco music, these venues were hotspots for teenagers and young adults. The neon lights, flashy outfits, and synchronized skating routines made roller discos a vibrant part of pop culture. Today, roller discos are a nostalgic memory, with only a few venues remaining as niche attractions. While the spirit of roller discos lives on in the occasional theme party or retro night, they are no longer a mainstream event. Fun fact, the first roller disco opened in New York City in 1979, sparking a craze that would spread across the U.S. and beyond. If you're enjoying this trip down memory lane, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Way Back USA for more content that brings back the good old days. Share your favorite memories in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Drive-in theaters were once a great Friday night, even for families. They would pack their cars, grab some snacks, and enjoy movies under the stars. At their peak in the 1950s and 1960s, there were over 4,000 drive-in theaters across the United States. Today, less than a couple hundred drive-in theaters remain. Drive-ins experienced a brief resurgence during the COVID-19 pandemic, offering a safe way to enjoy films while maintaining social distancing. Fun fact, the first drive-in theater was opened in Camden, New Jersey in 1933 by Richard Hollingshead. He came up with the idea after experimenting with a projector mounted on the hood of his car. Once a common sight on every street corner, phone booths have largely disappeared. These glass enclosures offered a private space to make calls or see how many of your friends can fit into them. In some cities, old phone booths have been transformed into miniature libraries or art installations, preserving their legacy in creative ways. Fun fact, The world's first telephone booth was installed in Berlin in 1881. In the early 1990s, Pepsi introduced Crystal Pepsi, a clear cola that promised a unique taste experience. The marketing campaign was bold, emphasizing the drink's purity and clarity. However, despite the initial curiosity and hype, Crystal Pepsi failed to capture a lasting market. Consumers were confused by the clear appearance of a cola that tasted like the traditional dark version, and sales plummeted. Crystal Pepsi's failure is a classic example of how even big brands can misread consumer preferences. Despite this flop, Crystal Pepsi has maintained a cult following, with occasional limited re-releases to satisfy nostalgic fans. Fun fact: Crystal Pepsi was re-released for a limited time in 2016 and 2017, thanks to a successful online petition from fans of the original drink. Cigarette machines were once a common fixture in bars, restaurants, and public places. These vending machines made it easy to purchase cigarettes, even for minors. However, as awareness of the health risks of smoking grew and regulations tightened, cigarette machines became less prevalent and eventually disappeared from most public spaces. Today, cigarette machines are rare, found only in a few countries, and often in restricted areas. Their disappearance reflects changing attitudes toward smoking and public health. Despite their decline, they remain a symbol of a time when smoking was more socially acceptable and widespread. Fun fact: the first cigarette vending machine was invented in 1926, making it convenient for people to buy cigarettes without interacting with a salesperson. Loving these blasts from the past? Make sure to subscribe to Wayback USA for more videos that take you back to simpler times. Let us know in the comments if you remember any of these flops, or if there's something we missed. Before the age of digital on-screen guides and streaming services, TV Guide was an essential tool for TV viewers. This weekly magazine provided listings, reviews, and articles about television programs, helping viewers plan their watching schedules. At its peak, TV Guide was one of the most widely read magazines in the United States. The advent of digital technology and the internet rendered printed TV listings obsolete. Today, TV Guide still exists, but has a much smaller readership, primarily focusing on online content. Its decline marks the end of an era, when flipping through pages was the primary way to find out what was on TV. Fun fact: the first issue of TV Guide was published in 1953, featuring a cover story about Lucille Ball's newborn son, Desi Arnaz Jr. Remember the days of dial-up internet? The screeching sound of a modem connecting and the agonizingly slow speeds were once the norm for accessing the World Wide Web. Dial-up modems were our gateway to the internet in the 1990s and early 2000s, but they were eventually replaced by faster broadband connections. Dial-up's slow speeds and the inconvenience of tying up phone lines made it a target for obsolescence. Broadband and fiber optic technologies have transformed internet access, making dial-up a distant memory. However, for those who experienced it, dial-up represents the early, pioneering days of the internet. Fun fact: the fastest dial-up modems could achieve speeds of up to 56 kilobytes per second, a far cry from today's high-speed internet. Floppy disks were once the primary means of data storage and transfer. From the large 8-inch disks to the more familiar 3.5-inch versions, these magnetic storage devices were essential for computer users in the 1980s and 1990s. However, as storage technology advanced, floppy disks were replaced by CDs, USB drives, and cloud storage. Today, floppy disks are almost entirely obsolete. With most modern computers lacking floppy disk drives, they serve as a reminder of the rapid pace of technological advancement and how quickly once essential tools can become relics of the past. Fun fact: the original 8-inch floppy disk could hold just 80 kilobytes of data, while the later 3.5-inch disks could store up to 1.44 megabytes. We've covered a lot of ground today, from mixtapes to floppy disks. If you're enjoying these nostalgic trips, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video from Wayback USA. Share your thoughts and memories in the comments. We love hearing from you. Mood rings were all the rage in the 1970s, promising to reveal your emotional state through changing colors. These rings contain liquid crystals that change color based on the temperature of your skin, supposedly indicating your mood. Though mood rings have fallen out of favor, they occasionally resurface as novelty items. They remind us of a time when simple, gimmicky products could capture the public's imagination and become cultural phenomena. Fun fact: the colors of mood rings were meant to indicate various emotions, with blue typically representing calm and red indicating excitement or passion. Leg warmers were a fashion staple in the 1980s, popularized by aerobic classes and movies like Flashdance. These colorful, stretchy garments were worn over leggings or bare legs, adding both style and warmth. While leg warmers were initially designed for dancers, they quickly became a mainstream fashion trend. Today, they are mostly remembered as a symbol of 1980s pop culture. Despite their fall from mainstream fashion, leg warmers occasionally make a comeback in dance studios and retro-themed events. Fun fact: the aerobics craze of the 1980s, fueled by celebrities like Jane Fonda, played a significant role in popularizing leg warmers. Before the era of unlimited phone plans and cheap international calling, collect calls were a common way to communicate. By making a collect call, the recipient would agree to pay for the call, allowing people without money for a phone call to still connect with others. This method was especially popular among travelers and college students. The rise of mobile phones and affordable calling plans has made collect calls almost obsolete. While they are still available, they are rarely used in the modern age. Collect calls serve as a reminder of a time when communication was more restricted and costly. Fun fact: the first automated collect call service was introduced by AT&T in the 1960s. What a journey through some of the most memorable flops from our past. These items, once cherished, now serve as nostalgic reminders of how quickly times change. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to Wayback USA for more trips down memory lane. Leave a comment with your favorite memories and let us know what you'd like to see next. Until next time, stay nostalgic.